Greetings, demons, and welcome to Warhammer Weekly, episode 25. So, we have a decent amount of stuff to get into in terms of topics, but first, I have a few pickups to go over, so let's get into that, and then we can discuss everything that's happened in the world of Warhammer this week.
Not the leader of a cult, RabbitWithAxe.
So, before we get into the topics, let's just quickly go over my pickups this week. So, starting off with some stuff I got from Warhammer this week, we have Space Wolves upgrades. These are, these are the, I want to say Firstborn. They're not technically Firstborn exclusive, but this is the non-Primaris upgrades for Space Wolves. I already have the Primaris upgrades, and I just wanted a little bit more variety with my Space Wolves I'm building currently. And, yeah, I thought I might as well pick it up. I've been looking at this for a little while. It's been pretty difficult to find it anywhere other than Warhammer, but, yeah, went to the Warhammer store, picked up that, and I'm pretty happy with that overall. I also ended up picking up some Valhallan Blizzard technical paint. So obviously I picked up was it Stirland, the mud technical paint last week for my Kroot, or the week before that for my Kroot, whichever. This is going to be for my Chaos Space Marines. I do Zinch like Thousand Sun style. I just kind of wanted snow, but I want it to look like cloud, if that makes sense. So hopefully a bit of Valhallan Blizzard will give me that effect. Either way, very, very cool technical paint there. And then otherwise, the things that I got are actually kind of interesting this week. Starting with, well, sorry, this isn't actually that interesting, but I did pick up a sprue of Assault Intercessors. Obviously, I've already built the bodies. I just have to, and the bolter arms. I just have to add all the chainsaws and the heads. But yeah, I don't have any Assault Intercessors. Kind of wanted some. Just thought I'd pick them up. Got them for very cheap off eBay. It's just a single sprue of 5. And yeah, I'd make a fine addition to my Death Watch, because that is the main faction that I'm actually building right now. For the most part, I'm set with all the models I have for my Space Wolves. They're just getting actually built right now, and then painted, primed, all that kind of stuff. My Death Watch is what I'm actually expanding right now, because I have 3,000 points of Raven Guard. So yeah, very nice little addition to that, and they were actually really nice to build. Like, I built them without instructions because I couldn't be bothered to find them online, and they went pretty well, actually. I also ended up picking up the Warhammer Alliance, like, little booklet. So this, from what I understand, is the Warhammer store, like, Games Workshop official, like, school, like, collaboration, I guess. I don't know. Basically, like, schools and, like, the scouts and stuff like that can sign up to get, like, exclusive tutorials and little packets like this, and, like, events that happen in stores and stuff. And I saw it online for what I thought was a decent price, because you do get some excerpts from a few different books, I think, a few different short stories from Age of Sigmar and 40k. It was a playmat. I don't know what these are, but they look interesting. Oh, the paint palette cards. That's kind of interesting, actually. And yeah, like a little instructional, like, welcome to Warhammer sort of booklet, which I just think this kind of stuff is really cool to me. I have a lot of this kind of weird, like, kind of out of nowhere content, and yeah, it's something that I can't actually get, because I'm not, I'm not in Scouts, I'm not in school anymore, so I don't run a school or anything, so yeah, stuff like this is hard to come by in general, but was able to find it, and yeah, just a very nice addition to my little collection of, like, Warhammer random stuff, honestly. And then finally, something that I needed to get this because, well, I'll get into the topic later, but essentially these don't really exist anymore. The Space Marine Speeder Strike, it comes with the Land Speeder, just the standard one. I have modified it, of course, to be a Death Watch Land Speeder. But yeah, the Land Speeder is going away, and this has been a set that I've wanted for a long time. Obviously, this has been out of production for ages, but it does come with the little ammo supply dump and stuff, and I knew for a fact as soon as the Land Speeder went on Last Chance to Buy on the GW web store, this was going to go up in value. So I was like, I'm going to get it now while I can get it for a decent price. And yeah, you get a nice selection. You get a little Land Speeder, the ammo supply dump, and then glue, paintbrush, and weirdly enough, these aren't decals, these are stickers. I didn't expect that, but yeah, you get some Orc and Ultramarine stickers, which is kind of nice, but nothing too cool. But yeah, just overall, just a very, nice little set, and I needed to pick it up because the Land Speeder is something that I really like the aesthetic of. Sorry about that. And I don't know, it's a shame that this thing is going away, but yeah, very happy to have finally picked up the Build and Paint Series 1 Space Marine Speeder Strike. So, yeah, that's everything that I picked up this week, and let's get into the topics. And so, starting with the topics, we have the Warhammer 40,000 app update with a change to the Battleforge access. So, essentially, we've known this has been happening for a while, but the Battleforge, the actual, army building, the list building aspect of the Warhammer 40k app is going to no longer be free for everyone. It's only going to be available to Warhammer Plus subscribers from the 30th of August. So, obviously, that's still a little ways away, but it is more soon than a lot of people expected, especially when we do know for a fact that whilst the actual core rules and indexes are going to remain free and available via the app, because obviously otherwise they're free and available via Warhammer Community, the actual, I guess, the codices, the codexes, aren't actually going to be included, at least so far, for free in terms of the wider app. So, essentially, if you're a Warhammer Plus subscriber, I believe we are going to actually be getting the codexes as they arrive in the app, and that's great and everything, but it does mean that once, the vast majority of armies have got codices, the app for non-Warhammer Plus subscribers is going to kind of be useless. I personally don't think this is that big of a deal. It's the same as it was in 9th edition. You had to have Warhammer Plus to use the app for anything other than the stuff that was just available in Warhammer Community. And honestly, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Battlescribe has finally got 10th edition actually available to it. It's not fully updated, there's a few things missing, but it's getting there. Honestly, give it another month, give it until probably the end of August, and we're probably fine. I honestly don't think it's that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, and honestly, the fact that people have been freaking out as much as they have is kind of weird to me. I don't know, but yeah, in general, I don't think this is that big of a deal. Essentially, if you're a Warhammer Plus subscriber, which is what I am personally, you're getting all the other content. You're getting your painting guides, your battle reports, the various little mini-series and stuff that are available on Warhammer Plus. You get the Black Library access. You get the access to all of the issues of White Dwarf, all that kind of stuff. And you also get access to Battleforge. It's just an extra, you get it on top of, most people just get Warhammer Plus for that exclusive model. So, at the end of the day, if you've got it for your World Eaters, Terminator, or your, I can't remember what it's called, but the Sorcerer Lady from AOS, like I did, you're getting access to all this anyway. So, personally, I don't think it's that big of a deal. A lot of people have been freaking out a little bit and kind of complaining and saying it's bad that you've done this, but the app since launch has said, this is only temporarily available for free for everyone. It said in the app, at the top of the Battleforge, that it was only temporarily available for free. This shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, and the fact that it is, apparently, honestly, I just think you weren't actually using the app if you think that this is a problem, because we knew this was happening. We didn't know when, we didn't know the timeline, so you may think it's a bit early. I personally think they should have probably waited until the codexes were announced for their release date, so we actually knew when, the Tyranids and the Space Marines are going to be getting their codices. But as it currently stands, I think this is fine. I don't think this is that big of a deal, but to a lot of people it is, and I get that. So, yeah, there we go. Updates to the 40k app. I don't think they're that big of a deal. Tell me what you think in the comments below, because I'm sure plenty of you do actually think this is an issue. But at the end of the day, use Battleforge. It's available. Not Battleforge. What is it called? What is it called? I've actually completely blanked. I even mentioned it earlier. What is it actually called? Battlescribe. That's what it is. Battlescribe. Just use Battlescribe. It's available on PC. It's available on mobile. It's actually just more usable in a lot of ways than the 40k app. Though they are talking about a lot of upgrades to the 40k app. So I get it. I understand. But just use the free alternatives if you're so against paying for Warhammer Plus. And honestly, I think it's good. There's a new series out right now, Angels of Death Origins. There's a new episode, stuff like that. So it's worth it. In my opinion, it's worth it. But I'm not here to sell Warhammer Plus. I'm just here to, talk about the things that are happening to it. So, yeah, moving on from that. And straight into yet another topic of of controversy. So we have a Space Marine range update, and this has gotten rid of a lot of models that I am not that happy with, but we'll get into it. Bikes, land speeders, and more are soon zooming off into the sunset. So essentially, this is just like we had with the Horus Heresy Legends, a absolute ton of Space Marine units that are going to go the way of the dodo. As of the codices releasing, they will no longer be available, which, you know, is a shame in some cases. We'll get into it as we go through, but yeah, we have a lovely little list here, and I'm going to kind of go through everything and then just kind of discuss the ones that matter to me, because not everything matters to me here, unfortunately. But we have the Attack Bike, the Bike Squad, the Scout Bike Squad, the Land Speeder Storm, the Stalker and the Hunter, the Ironclad Dreadnought, the Assault Squad, Company Command, Scouts with Sniper Rifles, Librarian, Tech Marine with Servitors, and the Thunder Fire Cannon and the Tech Marine with that. So, yeah, overall, this is just a lot of vehicles disappearing from the war, and also the Scouts disappearing from the 40k range of Space Marines, which is really, it's really sad, honestly. A lot of these are really nice units. I actually own a surprising amount of these. I own the Attack Bike, the Bike Squad, the Land Speeder. I'm trying to think, do I own any? I think I own an Ironclad Dreadnought. I own a lot of Dreadnoughts. And it's just, you know, things like the Tech Marine with Servitors is a model that I've looked at for a very long time, thought about it. I know it's fine cast, but I've been thinking about getting it for a long time. The Scouts, as much as I personally don't think they look great, are so iconic. They are such a classic model, and it's just so sad to be seeing them leaving. The Company Command is so good for bits. The Assault Squad, once again, so good for bits. And, like, the fact that these models, like, have all gone Last Chance Spy here, it's so sad. Like, I'm glad that the ones that I care about, which is the Attack Bike and the Land Speeder, those I actually already do have, so I don't have to worry about picking those up on Last Chance to Buy. But it's really just, it's not a great feeling to have so much of my army just disappearing, essentially. This happened with the Legends, the Horus Heresy Legends stuff, and, you know, it felt bad then, it feels bad now. My army is made up primarily of Firstborn units, surprisingly enough. I have a lot of Primaris, don't get me wrong, but so much of, especially my vehicles, is Firstborn, and it's just, more and more of it is just vanishing, which is really, really sad. The Assault Squad, especially, really bad for me. I love jump packs. They're a really good thing for me. I don't own the Assault Squad, but I own jump packs, and I have them magnetized for a tactical squad. So, you know, I have use for the Assault Squad. I just don't personally own one, and it looks like I probably never will. Hopefully, you know, jump packs are going to come with Primaris soon enough. But it's just, and at the end of the day, like, so many of these have alternatives. The Attack Bike, obviously, can be swapped out for the ATV. The Bike Squad can be the Outrider Squad. Same with the Scout Bike Squad, technically. I'm hoping we do get new Scouts, but I'm going to get into that in a little bit. The Land Speeder and Land Speeder Storm, we do have the Primaris version of that, which is all fine. The Stalker Hunter is questionable, just because, you know, it's a Rhino base, essentially. It's something that I don't think they should be getting rid of, unless they're straight up just getting rid of Firstborn, which they aren't. They're keeping a lot of Firstborn. They actually mention it in the article. There's a lot of, you know, Firstborn units that are going to be staying, so it's kind of weird to get rid of the Stalker Hunter. The Ironclad Dreadnought, at the end of the day, like, with the Dreadnoughts in general, the fact that they, you know, said, oh yeah, all Firstborn Dreadnoughts are just under the Dreadnought category now, they all just have that, we have a few extra options. It's annoying that there's some exclusive Ironclad options that probably aren't going to be available, but at the end of the day, like, if you want to run that model, you can. There's a lot of different Ironclads, you know, my personal favourite is the Space Wolf one, which I believe is still going to be available in the range, but yeah, it's just, there's a lot. Assault Squads, as I say, I love my jump packs. Same with the Company Command, has such good sculpts and everything. Just a lot of things I don't want to see leave. The Scouts. Let's get into the Scouts, because, like, I'm not going to say anything about the Librarian. The Tech Marines are cool, and the Thunderfire Cannon was always overpriced, but the Scouts. So, the Land Speeder Storm, the Scout Bike Squad, the Scouts, and the Scouts with Sniper Rifles are all leaving, and they are every single scout unit that is currently available. And not only just 40k, but this also affects 30k, because the scout models are actually something that you can use pretty heavily within 30k. And they're leaving the range. All I can say is I hope that they are revealed to be coming as Primarisified, because that's the only way this makes sense. Like, I don't want them to be Primarisified properly, I want them to still be, Firstborn scale, but, yeah, it's going to be really, really annoying, especially for 30k players, if the scouts just don't exist anymore. Because that is a unit that has been so popular, despite the fact, as I say, I personally think they look terrible, but I understand that they are great units, and it's just so sad to see them go, and I don't know. It means that a lot of, Raven Guard lists are going to be a lot different. Obviously, I play Raven Guard, but I don't play Scouts. But I know a lot of people that play Raven Guard love to have Scouts in there. It's such a weird choice. When we don't know if more Scouts are coming, it's just such an odd choice to just get rid of them, but yeah, there's just a lot to go over there. It is annoying, personally. I think the fact that we're losing the Firstborn Tech Marines, both of them, both the one with Servitors and the one that's including the Thunderfire Cannon, it's really sad. I think it's annoying that, honestly, the Primaris one is fine, but it doesn't look great in the grand scheme of things, and I just think getting rid of both of them is really stupid. I'm probably going to have to pick up the Tech Marine with Servitors. It's also right now the only way to get normal Servitors, which is ridiculous. They're getting rid of Tech Marines and Servitors with this change. We're losing 3 different types of units in their entirety. Scouts, Tech Marines, and Servitors are all just disappearing. It's so stupid to me, but yeah, I could rant all day about this. There's a lot of things that I have issue with here, but in any case, that is going to be it for this section. Let's just move on. And staying in the 41st millennia, we do have some new Necromunda, and it's a squat. We actually have a new Squat Prospector from the Ironhead Squat gang, I guess. And he looks excellent. He has a little mining drone boy. And honestly, I've made it clear before, I use the Necromunda squats as my main unit for my Votan. This guy may be another call. I already have one stand-in call that's actually from AOS, and this might be another one. This guy looks absolutely excellent. He's got a power fist, he's got a power pickaxe, which is so interesting. A little grabby claw on his backpack. It looks excellent. The little drone boy. Oh, you gotta love the little drone. He has his little drill, his little his seismic reader and stuff. It's all so cute, and I love the Necromunda squats. They're my favorite thing. They have the beautiful mech suit that I think that needs to be in the Votan line, honestly, and just in general, it's such an excellent range of models, and just another great addition to it. I don't have that much to say about it. As I say, the fact that it just looks that good, and it's got a little buddy with it. It's so cool. I'm not someone who plays Necromunda. I could definitely get into it. I have enough models at this point, especially from the Ironhead Squat Prospectors. But it's just a wonderful, wonderful little model that I can't wait to get my hands on. I do believe it's in plastic as well. Is it actually? No, resin miniatures. Okay, so it is a Forge World unit. I don't think that matters too much. This is such a great little model. I'm looking forward to it, and that's really all I can say about it. It's just a really nice model. And going back 10,000 years to the heresy... The heresy? The heresy of Horus. The Horus heresy. It's Heresy Thursday, and we actually got 3 more units shown off. So, it's tanks this time, which, as I've discussed many times before, I'm not that big on tanks in general. But, the Kratos heavy tank, the Baneblade, and the Demos pattern Rhino have all been shown off for Legions Imperialis, and yeah, they look like tanks, alright. A lot of people have been very excited for the Baneblade. I can't blame them. It's a very nice looking tank, especially in this scale. I can imagine this being hell to paint. There's so much little detail on it, but honestly, I think this is going to be the only way I get a lot of these tanks, because I'm very interested in Legions Imperialis. I'm really, really wanting just a massive army of them. And, I love my dreadnoughts, I love my flyers and stuff. I'm definitely going to be getting some tanks, though. I'm definitely going to be getting some tanks. And, all these look great. The Baneblade, as I say, looks absolutely excellent. The Kratos Heavy Tank, this is probably the best it's ever looked. I'm not the biggest fan of the, I believe it's a Forge World model, the main size one. I've never been the biggest fan of it. I think it's fine, but, in this scale, I don't know if they've changed up the modelling slightly. It just looks great to me. And the Demos pattern Rhino is a Demos pattern Rhino. It's a Rhino. At the end of the day, it's the same chassis we know and love, just with some added extras and some slight differences in the weaponry and stuff. But, they all look absolutely great. And, it's just more plastic tanks to add to our collection. I really like all the Imperialist stuff, so hopefully we see more of it very soon. But, there's not really too much to say about it. I don't run Armoured Company in anything. I own one full-scale tank, and it's a Chaos Rhino. So, it's not my thing yet, but I very well might get into it for Legions Imperialis. So, very, very nice. And also for Legions Imperialis, we got the reveal of the terrain. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but essentially it's just a lot of classic grimdark cityscape stuff, a lot of cathedrals, a lot of, general Terran architecture, and, a bit of machinery as well. It's just a nice selection of different terrain. I'm looking forward to actually getting some of this to paint it up. I'm a huge fan of model, I don't want to say, model trains and model planes and stuff, because I'm not specifically a fan of those, but, I like that scale. I like that slightly smaller scale, and I'm pretty sure Imperialis is, considerably smaller than that still, but, it has that feel to me. Warhammer, to me, it feels more like figurines. It's more like toys to me. Whereas Legion Imperialis, the scale of it, the epic scale of it is far more in line with how I visualize miniatures, true miniature trains, miniature planes, miniature boats, that sort of thing. And I really am a fan of that. I have a few planes and stuff. I like that world. I used to be part of a group that actually had a model train set. That they were building up a massive table. I did a decent amount of terrain building on that. But yeah, it was just very, very fun. I've always wanted to kind of have that. And this terrain looks like it might offer that sort of experience, which is really cool. Hopefully it's not too expensive. GW terrain has a habit of being a bit overpriced, but honestly, it all looks great. I'm really liking the cranes. The various little towers are looking great. I bet a lot of this would be very annoying to paint just because of how much detail there is in these tiny, tiny walls. But, overall just some very, very cool looking terrain. So, very cool. And that is everything we have for Legions Imperialis this week. And that brings us to the Mortal Realms. I'm actually going to be skipping the Old World information we got this week, just because none of it relates to models, and I don't really care too much about it. If it doesn't have models in it, I don't really care about Old World. But anyway, over into the Age of Sigmar, the Wild Core Hunters have been revealed, and they're just a bunch of lovely humans for Cities of Sigmar with a bunch of doggos. That's really all I can say. You get 4 separate dogs, 1 dog with the character model, and then another 6 humies with mostly crossbows. We've got 1 guy with a spear. Just a very nice selection of models here, and there's not really too much to say about them. They look cool. I actually really like the dog sculpts. I think they're going to make some really good guard units for the dog guard that a lot of people like to build. But overall just some really good boys with some really nice humans next to them, which is always nice to see. Honestly, of all the Sigmar stuff we've seen, this might be the one that I actually just pick up to have a little bit of a project. I love the leather, the armor's really nice, the various weapons, mostly crossbows as I say, are really cool and will give me a chance to do some wood texturing, which is always nice to paint. And then the dogs. Obviously, the dogs are just so nice. They're all very, very funny looking. I like the bulldog looking one, the bottom left of the image and stuff like that. Just some very, very nice little dogs. But, that is it for the Wildcore Hunters. That's everything we actually got for the Mortal Realms this week. But, still some very cool stuff. And moving on to the last topic of the week, the Rumour Engine for the 25th of July, 2023. And it looks pretty cool this time around. It's what looks like the skull, or not skull, the head of a statue with some candles on it. And then there's a
bird foot on it. It could honestly be a lizard foot. It could be something Seraphon. I feel like I say that every single week we have something for Age of Sigmar, but yeah, it could just easily be something relating to potentially some new Zeech units, which would be really cool. I'm a huge fan of Zeech, both in AOS and in 40k, though I only play him in 40k. And yeah, if this is another model, I'm all for painting up some more bird boys. I do quite like my Zangor, quite like my my various little birdie boys from the Zinch line. But yeah, this guy looks pretty cool. Standing on what looks like, I almost want to say, I know it isn't Sigmar specifically, but it almost looks like a Sigmar type character that the statue is of, which is really interesting. The like sad look on the face is really fun to me. But yeah, covered in candles, which is very chaos, very you know, I guess it could be Cities of Sigmar as well, but I doubt it. And yeah, the bird foot or the lizard foot, whichever. So very, very cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this one actually is. But yeah, in any case, that is going to be it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like it, subscribe if you're new to it, and ring that bell so you never miss upload. Otherwise, comment below what do you think of any of the topics that we've discussed today, especially when it comes to the Space Marine range update and the changes to the 40k app. I'm really interested in hearing what you guys think of that. Also, tell me what you think about the Legions Imperialis again. Like, I keep asking about it because I just want to know what people think about Legions Imperialis. I really like it. I'm really excited for that epic scale stuff. But, yeah, there's not really too much else to say. So, without further ado, that's going to be it from me. And I hope to see you next time. Bye!
Look at the screen, you'll be fine. Culture's a disease, but we'll survive. I just wanna take